Hey everyone, and welcome to another devlog video for the procedural city generator. Today's going to be fairly short. I wanted to show you guys a new feature that I've been working on for the past few days, and that is adding road names to our city. This was actually requested by a community member over Discord. I believe it was last week. And I thought about it and I really liked the idea. I thought it would add a lot of new possibilities to the city. So I've been kind of working on that in the last few evenings. So the biggest thing that I wanted to avoid was having to manually add the names ourselves. Obviously, a regular city would have thousands of roads, so you won't have to. You definitely don't want to be adding those manually. So the first thing I did is I created a little data table you can see here called dt underscore road names, and it's very simple. It just has two columns: the road type, and then the actual name. And you can see if I scroll down here, you'll see that we have a bunch of main and then minor side roads and then a few highways. And all of these are basically from here from the United States. So you'll say like highways are like I-43, I-44, I-45, etc. Overall total, I have 4,500 names, 4,506 rows here. In other words, pretty big table. It's very easy to add new names and customize. Obviously, you can come here and manually change the names and the type. But the easiest way is actually to use a spreadsheet like I have here. This is a Google Docs spreadsheet. Much easier to download from the web, which is what I did here. Some of these names are from New York City, the Bronx, Queens, kind of that area around New York. And then I just defined a type. And then I can export this as a CSV file. And if you keep the exact same format, when you import into Unreal, it'll just update this data table here, so you don't really have to do much. And once this is here, the road manager and the city generator both use that data table to populate names for the roads. So in this case, I'm not going to generate the city. That'll take, unnecessary time. But as I generated the city and the roads were being created, random names for that road type were being added to the road. So if I click on this road here, you'll see that we have a new field right here called road name, and this is Delancey Street South, I guess. And if I click on this other one, this is going to be Herkimer Place, etc. So every single road will have a different name, Wayland Avenue, etc. And that's the biggest thing. We're going to be using random names per type, and we're not going to repeat the names. We're going to exhaust the initial pool per type, and only when we run out of names, then we start repeating the names. So theoretically, you could have 50,000 names on a massive table, and you have your mega cities, and hopefully you'll have plenty of names to spare, and you won't have repeat names. So that was the first thing. And then the second thing was to obviously use that information somehow. And the quickest way would be to use a prop that spawns along the road that can use that name. So I made this little road sign, and again, this is styled like you would see it here in the United States, but it can be basically any mesh. You can use this blueprint, you can use any mesh. As long as you keep these two text fields for the name, it should work. And then these guys are going to be spawned along the roads. They can be random or fixed, and they're going to be passed along the name of the road that they're being spawned on. And then you can create any number of props or objects that use that information however you want. In this case, this blueprint uses that name to change the text here. So if I wanted to come here and I go to the props, and I'm gonna go ahead and start spawning the fixed props. Just gonna quickly do that. And now I start looking around. Let's see, you can see that we have one of these signs here, and you can see that this sign has Delancey Street South, which is the exact name of this road. There you go. So now we have some signs. You can see another one here, D Avenue. Funny name, D Avenue. And basically that's it. Now we have some road signs. You can see here, this one is Hermiker Place. This one is, what is it? 102nd Street Crossing. So now we have road signs all around our city. And let me just go ahead and spawn some random props as well. I'm gonna spawn again because I want to show you guys the car. And because again, we have that information automatically placed on the roads, we can use that information any way we want. Obviously, the obvious one was to use the props, but if you drive a car, for example, I'll just hit play here and get into this car, you'll see that we can actually use a trace on the car, and I've added this, to detect the name of the road and then display it at the top like some sort of cheap GPS effect. And this is again because every single road now in our city has a specific name. So you can feel free to use this information in any way you want. You see, we're in Callister Street, we're in Rich Street, and then we're gonna turn here. This is Thomas Street, and let me see. I want to see if we can. Just want to prove that the sign and the GPS, there you go, coincide. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Fairly simple. I hope you like it. You can again put any number of names that you want here. You notice that I've added something else as I was working on this. These are actually fixed props. I've added the option for fixed props to pick a random side. You can either have one side or both, or now a random side. And that was only available on the random props struct. I added it on the fixed one because at least for these signs, I figured you can have some randomness here. Like for these lights here, or the lights, they're going to be spawned on either side. But for the signs, I wanted them to be a little bit more random. And obviously, I know that typically roads don't have signs like this. They're usually on the crossroads, and I have not added them there. That is probably going to be the next step. I have to really think about how I want to do that. But typically on crossroads is when you have these signs will say like this is this street and this is that street. But for now, I wanted to show the use case that you can have like just a sign that says, hey, you are on Thomas Street. So yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. I have a little bit more work to be done here. Like I said, there's a few extra things I need to do to polish it up and maybe add it to the crossroads. That would be great if I can do that. And that would be basically a complete new feature for the names. And then after that, I'll continue working on supporting water and landscapes, which I know is a very, very popular request. I am already working on that. I've already made significant changes. So you can see I have a landscape at the bottom actually. So I'm just using this as a test level. So those big features are coming, but I figured that this smaller one was a little bit fun to add. So I just went ahead and added it. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't joined Discord, there's going to be a link on the description of the video. Please do join. I'm much more active on Discord, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach me that way. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you in the next video.